Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in again to another episode of CivilianTacticalWeapons.com. Today's episode is actually going to be a tool from GlockMeister. It's actually the Glock sighting tool. And what I wanted to do is actually show you how this thing worked. Some of you may or may not be in the market for looking at having a tool to adjust the fixed sights on a Glock. So this one here is actually a Glock 36, and I want to show you pretty much what this tool does. Keep in mind, some people who just want to have a sight installed once and will never actually use it again, this may not be the tool for you. Those who may want to replace their tools, may have multiple Glocks, this is actually a very handy tool. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take the Glock, and the way this tool works, if you zoom in on this, you have a couple of areas that you have on the sight. First, the front sight, there's actually a special tool that's included with this GlockMeister sight tool, and it actually will fit. It's like a little rocket wrench, and if you can look down there, you can see that there's just like a round little six-headed kind of socket there, but you're not going to be able to get into that unless you have this kind of special tool. So what you want to do is make sure you actually do this very careful. You may also, if you have troubles, you may want to get a pair of pliers and hold the front sight in place as you're torquing it. So if it'll actually fit, you gotta just kind of weasel it around here until you find it there, and that's actually locked in. And now I can go ahead and twist it and pop this front sight on and off. This will actually lock it in place. It also includes the Loctite, so you want to make sure you actually coat the areas with the Loctite before you actually grip down on it. But the other thing I want to really show you is the rear sight. This is actually what you would actually, if you want to do any adjustments on it, this allows you to adjust the sight. So even if you do have someone who puts the sights on for you, you may realize, go down the range and be like, oh, it's off, I need to move it a little bit to the left or right. So what this tool has, the bottom attachment allows you to tighten the actual tool onto the slide. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to go ahead and tighten this down onto the slide like that. And then these two tools is really a push tool. So what I'm going to do is actually going to go ahead and rotate it on here. And what you'll want to do is loosen the side. So if I want to push it this way, one, you can see that there's a lot of space here. This is really designed, the way I've actually had this position right here is really to push the sight this way. There's absolutely nothing, however, that would prevent you from doing this. And this is how I would recommend if you want to push the sight the other way, is you can rotate this tool around, and then now it actually push the sight off to this direction. So then I'd go ahead and do the same thing, clamp it down here. So I'm clamping in the slide, lining up with the front sights, and actually these are the Trigicon sights that I sell. So these are the glow-in-the-dark Trigicon sights. And if you see here, actually you'll push this, loosen this side here to give it a gap, and it will actually go ahead and push that whole side over. So I know it's hard to see on the thing, but I'm actually almost have actually shown exposing this side of it over here. Since I'm actually pushing it like that, I'm going to loosen this side here, go to the other side, and push the sight back over into position. So I'm going to go ahead and line it back up. Right back there in the center. And keep in mind, this is kind of, you're going to be eyeballing this to actually get this to work. What you'll want to do is actually take it out to the range, put a few rounds through it, see how it actually looks, and you'll at that point be able to go ahead and adjust it. So it's actually a pretty cool tool. This one here runs a little bit over $100. The actual factory Glock tool can run you almost twice as much. This one here is incredibly heavy. This is not a cheap little tool as far as the quality of the design. It's a very heavy design. This thing's probably a few pounds, so I mean it's solid metal. It's a chunk of metal here. So it's a very good product. But it actually does exactly as advertised. You know, and it's sometimes easier to find this one from GlockMeister versus actually finding the actual tool from Glock, which will actually cost you more money. So anyways, if you have any questions, please email me at info@civiliantacticalweapons.com, and I hope to see you in a future episode.